Well, hello again. Now, I decided it would be fun to follow up on my top theme park toilets with another toilet video because I know that you will like that one so much. So this morning I went to Brent Cross. I just went for a couple of things and then I thought, you know what? I would like to do a tier list of all the toilets in Brent Cross. Now, I've lived in North London for about 20 years, which feels like a long time when you look at it. And I spent a lot of this 20 years in Brent Cross, which used to be one of the largest shopping centres in the UK. It was built in 1976 as one of the first out-of-town shopping centres, and at the time it was heralded as something very new and very modern, an American-style mall. This is how shopping will be in the future, we say, as we look at our Amazon app on our phone and order anything we want to be delivered to our doorstep the following day. In the past, Brent Cross used to have things like fountains, a children's play area with these wonderful wooden sculptures that you weren't supposed to climb on, but everybody did. It was also used, the multi-story car park was used as a filming location for Tomorrow Never Dies with Pierce Brosnan, who drove a remote control BMW around it. But nowadays, it's, I guess, a staple of North London life to a certain extent. It's got 3 department stores. It's got a Marks and Spencer's, a Phoenix, and a John Lewis. And it's got all the other things you'd expect, Boots, a WH Smith's, and it also has toilets. Now, I was thinking as I was coming out of M&S that I wasn't going to go to these particular toilets on the ground floor because they're absolutely disgusting. And wouldn't it be fun if I classified all the bogs in Brent Cross? And as a bonus, I will also show the 2 amazing liminal spaces that you can find in Brent Cross, which is just for a bit of fun, not really anything to do with the tier list. I'm hoping this will work. Have to cut this down. So the first toilet we're going to come to is the one on the first floor next to the body shop. Now, I've not been in the body shop for a very long time since I realized they are an MLM and were founded by someone who just fraudulently ripped off someone else's ideas wholesale and just simply sells the same product in 20 different fragrances, and who's got time for that? But these toilets are, these toilets don't smell awful. What an F. They're in decent state of repair in terms of the amount of toilet roll scraps and damp patches on the floor. Well, there were some. Did I see an attendant in there? No, I did not. But there was soap, there was toilets, there was toilet roll, the dryers work. So good B tier, solid toilet. If you're in the main part of Brent Cross, definitely go for this one. Now, the next toilet is on the ground floor. And it's next to Mini Sue, which is a place that depresses me because I think of all the plastic crap in there that nobody needs, but I kind of want. And another shop that seems permanently vacant. So sometimes it's a charity shop, used to be a Tesla kind of sales place, used to be a Volvo sales place, and now it's just all hoarded up for something, God knows what. Feels like it's just a crap location for a shop. Anyway, these toilets are very bad. They were recently done up, and from the outside they look amazing. They've got a thing to refill your water bottle. They've got a nice bench outside. And you think, oh, these are really nice. What wonderful modern toilets. Thank goodness they've done this place up. And then you walk into the cubicle and you're faced with what appears to be a toilet designed by James Dyson on a really bad day. There's this plastic lid and orange handle and a lot of promises about how amazing and efficient your toilet experience is about to be. So excited by the experience you're about to have. You touch the handle, you lift the lid. Don't worry, the handle reassures you. No harm will come to you when you lift the handle. And you do your business, and then you close the lid. And what's supposed to happen is the toilet flushes automatically and everything is wonderful and completely sanitary. But what actually happens is, because the lid is down and it's kind of hermetically sealed like an aeroplane toilet, the flush creates this kind of maelstrom of aerosolized toilet water which floats in the air, which means that when you lift that lid again, what you're faced with is a waft of this aerosolized toilet water that then lands on the other surfaces. And that would explain why when you go into that toilet, it smells of stale wee, like eye-wateringly bad. So this is very unpleasant. And there's just no getting away from this smell. And if that were my cat litter tray, I'd be ashamed. And I don't understand why no one thought, hang on, we bought these toilets from some tech bro that promised the world and this amazing toilet experience. And what we got is some toilets that are not fit for purpose. So yeah, solid F tier, disappointing and vile. Now, the next toilet is the one on the second floor, near where all the restaurants are, between Nando's and Pizza Express. And this is when I noticed that Brent Cross actually has more Wi-Fi networks than toilets. Like everywhere you go, like every shop, every restaurant's got its own little Wi-Fi node. And sometimes you make the mistake, you connect to a couple of these, like for example, you're having lunch, and then the problem is your phone then hops around to each one, which ironically means it can be quite hard to get a signal. I end up having to deactivate Wi-Fi sometimes. So these toilets, they're decent. I would give them a nice B, maybe an A actually, because in these toilets they play bird song, which I think is much nicer than the normal sounds you hear in a toilet. Again, when I visited, there didn't seem to be anybody in here, and I don't know if they were I came in when they were having a break, but usually there's someone here and they're cleaning, they're topping up supplies and doing all that necessary stuff. Also, there's a family toilet here that I kind of remember in a weird way, because I was starting to have the worst migraine I'd ever had. And I came in here as it was coming on. It's kind of the aura phase. And I thought, I'm going to have a wee and then I'm going to collapse on a sofa in Lyon. So I popped in there first, which very well organized of me, but that's what I remember when I go past those toilets. So having done those three, now onto toilets that are not technically part of Brent Cross. So John Lewis and Phoenix have their own toilets, and in my previous experience, Phoenix has always been nicer, but I must admit I haven't used them for a while. Phoenix used to always have someone in there. Normally it was the same lady, and she was ever so nice. And over the years, I've taken babies in there that needed changing, and I'd always chosen these toilets because there's a separate area which I like, and they always seem to smell very faintly and very pleasantly of cinnamon, which I also like. And I remember when I brought my daughter when she was little, I always used to compliment the lady in there about how nicely the toilet was kept. So I'm sure it's a one-off aberration, but one of these toilets was both blocked and broken, which is never a good combination. And they're just not up to the same standard that they used to be. So I'm going to bung this in at C. I know it's not maybe unfair to knock them down because one of the toilets was blocked, but I randomly popped in. This is what I found. Now, the bogs at John Lewis. Now, I remember the family toilets. As you can see, this has a nice feature where if you've got a small child who also needs the loo, you and your child can sit together and have a wee or whatever at the same time. So maybe your kid can give you some encouragement if you're having a bit of a tough time on the toilet. So I thought I'd pop these here because it's weird. And because of that, I'd give these an A. But I wouldn't really compliment these toilets on their cleanliness because they're not usually very clean, because children at this age are kind of disgusting. And I don't think anyone could keep top of that. But look, if you're small and you've got a tall friend, or you're tall and have a smaller friend, you could each sit on one of these toilets and see who finishes first. It might be a fun time. So the main women's toilets are, again, an A. There wasn't really anyone there, so I was able to wander in and take a photograph. They don't smell bad, and they're decent. They're fine. They're fine. But what I did enjoy more than the toilets is the liminal space, which is the stairs you can take. If you go out of the toilets and you go into the bit where they sell the mirrors and the picture frames and that random stuff, you'll find a sign pointing you towards the stairs. Now, these stairs are amazing. They're proper backroom style, liminal stairs, complete with eerie sounds. I did a video, which I'm going to play now, and you can listen to the weird liminal sounds and enjoy this little liminal video that I made just for you. As a second bonus liminal space, there's also the toilets that are, it's the stairs down from the first floor toilets. I'm pausing because I've just managed to scroll past my script, so just bear with me. Yeah, so on the first floor toilets, there is a set of stairs which you can take to go down to the ground floor, which is a handy hint for when there's a queue for the lifts and the escalators aren't working. And these are also, they just come out just out in front of the Marks and Spencer's food hall area. And again, if you want some liminal fun, you can have some liminal fun here. But ask me which is the most liminal stairs, and of course I'm going to go with John Lewis. So unfortunately, as you can see, the only S-tier toilets in Brent Cross will be your own because you hung on until you got back. So that's a bit disappointing, but that's the times we live in. Unfortunately, no S-tier toilets to be found at Brent Cross. I would love to know if anyone knows anyone who's worked in Brent Cross, or if you just simply know. I wonder if the staff toilets are nicer than the public ones. I expect they probably are, just because they're probably less well used. And finally, if you're wondering whether I washed my hands after every visit, despite not actually using every toilet, I did use one set, but I'll leave you to guess which one. The answer is yes, and now I have the eczema to prove it. So thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.